Internet's wacky anime what if here to present you with What If Issei Was Betrayed and Gained the Betrayal System Part 4. Let's go and get into it. Currently, Issei Hyodo is staring at the screen, immediately thinking, I'm so screwed, as he saw that it was a survival quest. He has to survive this beast of a man in front of him, who literally has a gigantic great sword, which could literally be like 5 times his size. And immediately thinking, well, he might not be that fast though, getting up, running as fast as possible, because the system already told him not to even try. Like, just don't even try to talk your way out of this. He is going to kill you before you can even say that you're not his enemy, because of his supposed demonic aura he still has. He still has a slight demonic aura. Almost unnoticeable, but not unnoticeable to this man in front of him. This man in front of him has been tortured all his life by demons. Well, most of his life. And has got one of the most devastating betrayals ever. And it was caused by demons. He is not going to back down to kill this man. Is what got to... It was what the man screaming into his head before running towards him at top speed, while Issei's running away from him, thinking he lost him, looking behind him, seeing this man running so fast that you could literally see dust clouds behind him. And Issei immediately starts to scream and run quicker and saying, "System, sprint, sprint," and immediately screaming out his skill name. Immediately the system activates and he starts sprinting, running faster into the forest, and trying to lose him off his tail by jumping and running through trees, and literally going so far as to pick up pebbles on his way while running and throw them at the man behind him. All it does is really make him pissed off. As he just swings his sword, the pebbles break, and a giant amount of wind pressure just from swinging his blade ends up getting Issei flung a few meters in front of him, tripping, falling all the way to the ground, tumbling, and then landing directly in front of a boulder that's in front of him. Which, as soon as he ended up hitting against the boulder, he felt immense pain in his back. He felt as if something broke. But looking in front of him, he sees this man literally dragging his blade across the ground while charging at him, getting ready to swing down towards him. He immediately screams in his head, "Fuck!" Before the guy jumps in the air, swings his blade downwards. Issei manages to kick himself to the side, just barely avoiding the blade. But as soon as the blade makes contact with the boulder gets smashed into pieces. Immediately, Issei gets up off the ground, starts running again, but Guts had enough of him running. So he just picks up his blade, slams it to the ground, and causes all of the ground beneath Issei to literally shatter, and causing him to trip over said ground, because the pieces of rock ended up coming out of the ground, making him trip over it, and some of it piercing into his leg from the sheer force of this man. Issei looked behind him and said, guess running's not an option now," as he sees a giant piece of rock directly through his leg. Immediately calling forth his 2 blades, he immediately calls forth the Chaos Blades. He swings his left blade directly towards this wailing hulk of a man, and all the man does is just dodge to the left, grab the chain, pull Issei all the way forward, and swing his blade towards him. The blade cutting directly into his right arm, cutting it clean off in one go. As soon as it made contact, it just went straight through, and Issei is screaming in pain while trying not to, grinding his teeth together, and then thinking in his head, "Damn it, I'm not gonna die, not like this," he screams in his head, as he tries to grab the chain with his left arm, tried to pull it back, but Guts' grip strength is far too much, and he just pulls him even closer towards him, as Issei tried to jump backwards while trying to pull the blade back to his left hand. But no, he just pulls him forward more. And then Issei thinks in his head, wait, can I just... Then he has an idea. Soon as Guts pulled him forward towards him and was about to swing his other hand directly towards his head. As soon as it reached near his neck, all that Issei did was recall the Chaos Blades, and they appear directly in front of him. The right one dropping downward since his right hand's no longer there and he can't pick it up. But the left one appeared directly in Issei's hand. He immediately charged forward, not even glancing at the blade that's directly towards his neck, and tried to stab Guts. Tried to stab the man known as Guts, as the system told him the name. He immediately stabbed forward, but right when he was about to stab forward, Guts felt the immense danger from that blade, and the fact he was in too much danger to do the finishing blow. If he did the finishing blow, he'd also die. So he jumped backwards and absolutely removed his blade from Issei's neck, making him have some room to breathe, but still continued on with his attack. His stab didn't really reach him, because as soon as he jumped backwards, he also moved to the left side, making Issei crash directly in front of him, and all that Guts did was look towards Issei, whose body is falling downwards. And Issei looked directly beside him and sees Guts, who leaned to the side and now has his blade above his head. Immediately, Issei just says, "Is this how I'm gonna die?" Being very, very petrified by fear, as soon as he falls to the ground, he immediately thinks, No, I haven't had my revenge. I didn't do anything yet. God damn it, no. He swings his Chaos Blade directly towards the ground at neck-breaking speeds, slightly faster than Guts can immediately crush his body with his blade. As soon as he swung the blade downwards towards the ground, all of a sudden flames erupted directly below Guts. Guts jumped directly towards Issei, not jumping backwards again, but no, towards him, swinging his blade right at Issei, cutting him directly on the side of his chest, doing a diagonal slash, going all the way across his chest, leaving a gash of blood just spraying out of him. But his sheer determination makes it to where he tries to get right back up. But before he can get back up, Guts literally stomps directly onto his left leg, causing it to where he can no longer get up because it's completely shattered from just that one stomp. And Guts immediately grabs his head, lifts it upwards towards him, and then he says, "Do you have any final words, demon?" And Issei says, "I'm not a demon. Damn it. I'm just a normal person." Well, not normal by any means. Just someone who's lost absolutely everything. I've went through hells that you can't even imagine. You probably were just born with this strength. You're one of the lucky ones," he says, as he spits right onto his face. And this causes Guts to be even more furious. But then he realizes this man can't be a demon. He was far too weak. Sure, he might have gotten a little hit on him, but that just felt like a baby tap. The demons he's fought have not felt like this. He immediately throws Issei off of him and says, "You seem not to be a demon after all. You're way too pathetic and weak. So, you said pains that I can't imagine. What's happened to you exactly? Probably not even close to the amount of horrific pains I've suffered," he says as he gets uncharacteristically furious at him, as he's basically questioning his pain, questioning his very foundation of where his strength comes from. His strength comes from decades of training. He didn't just be born like this. No, he wasn't born like this. He was made for this. Power that courses through his veins. He stares down Issei while Issei looks at him and tries to fumble out a response, but all he can say is, "I lost everything because of my so-called friend," before going unconscious. Guts walks up towards him, picks him up, and puts him on his back, and walks away. A few hours later, Issei wakes up, sees that he's no longer near the hulking figure that was about to slay him, and realizes he's alive. Immediately, the system pops up and says, "Congratulations, you've survived." Issei immediately says, "Okay, so how did I survive?" While the system says, "I don't know. But anyway, you've gained quite a lot of points. Would you like to go to the gacha with your points?" While Issei says, "How many points did I gain?" While it said, "You've gained 500,000 points." Immediately Issei says, "So I'm halfway there to get Drake." While the system says, "Yes, but I suggest not trying to just buy him out of the store. I suggest using it on, well, the gacha, specifically because, sure, you'll have your friend back, but I don't think you'll be able to survive this world or your own world without any abilities or anything else aside from your, well, chaos blades. After all, you're not that proficient in blades after what you went through with Guts. That's quite plainly obvious, right? After all, he was holding back slightly when he was going against you, because in the back of his mind, he had just the slightest doubt that you weren't a demon. And it was proven right. Specifically because you were so pathetic. And Issei immediately thinks in his head and out loud, "I know that, but that's what I'm trying to change." And the system says, "Then why don't you go ahead and use your gacha points?" Issei immediately says, "Fine, I'll use them. After all, I won't be able to survive going against Rainier or anything else if I don't." Immediately he says, "Before that, erase ID." Immediately he disappears out of the ID. Everything around him just shatters, and he's back in his room. His arm is still missing, and the system says, "Oh wait, you forgot to claim your other reward." Immediately it shows recovery. Immediately says, "Claim reward." Immediately he recovers, no longer having any injuries, and his arm appears brand spanking new. Immediately says, "Alright, let's go to the gacha." Immediately goes to the gacha and spends only 10 times. But through those 10 times, he gained one thing, which he definitely didn't think he was going to gain. He gained Drake already, which he was quite shocked. And the system said, "I told you to be quicker if you just did the draws." He immediately started saying, my friend's back. My friend's back. He's back." Immediately screams out while having his hands up in the air, saying, "Well, that didn't take long, and I'm happy for that. After all, I don't want to, well, buy him out of the shop. That's degrading, although I think it might be more degrading when he finds out that he was literally gambled for." I literally won him in a gamble. And immediately the dragon peered out of his hand and said, "Partner, I heard that, and that is very degrading. I have my prize dragon, damn it. Didn't expect for this so-called system thing that you have to put me into it, and for it to literally sell me off as if I was some type of overly expensive ice cream or something." While Issei said, "No, you're about as expensive as a Bugatti." While Drake said, "That's not the point." And he says, "Yeah, I know. Drake, it's good to see you," he says, in a soft tone, while the Drake says, "Yeah, it's good to see you too, partner." They share this little moment before the system says, "So, are you going to check what else you got, or not?" Issei immediately says, "Alright, so let's see what else I have." Immediately he looks through and sees that literally the Drake and 2 other things are the only good thing. And the rest of it just says a few useless things. One of them is condoms. Another of them is, what is that? He says in his head. And it just says soap. And he looks in the item description and he says, "Whoever drops this soap will summon the booty warriors." And he thinks in his mind, how is that useful? Before checking all the other things. Then he sees one thing which says power pill. Or, which is quite odd. So Issei immediately pulls it out and reads the description. Immediately it says, whenever eaten, you will gain a certain power. You get to keep the said power. If it's useful or if it's useless depends on the user. Immediately, Issei just pops it in. Just immediately eats the pill. And the system says, "You know you didn't read the rest of it, right?" While Issei said, oh. What does the rest of it say? Is it anything bad? He gets really worried. And the Drake says, same old, same old. Immediately saying that, but also very worried. The system says no, but while it's active, you'll have explosive diarrhea. Well, you have a lot of diarrhea. And Issei says, wait, what? Before immediately feeling something. He ends up saying, oh my god, no! He starts running all the way out of his room, running towards the bathroom, trying to open it, but it's locked. And his dad's saying, hey, I'm using the shitter in here. And Issei immediately says, I gotta use the restroom. He runs down the stairs, goes towards the restroom, knocks on it, and his mom's in the restroom. And he immediately runs all the way outside, runs all the way towards a public bathroom that's near his house. He tries to go in. He opens the door, and he just sees this one old man in the restroom. And he's like, hey, I'm using the restroom in here. Before Issei says, sorry, closes the door, goes to the one beside it, opens it, and all of a sudden this creepy old man just looks at him and says, hi there, I wouldn't mind company in here. While Issei says, yeah, how about no? Slams it, goes to the next one, literally opens it, not even knocking, because he literally has the shits. Immediately opens it and sees that it's completely empty. He goes in, closes the door, and sits down. And right when he's about to use the restroom, the system says, didn't I mention it was explosive diarrhea? And Issei said, wait, you mean I just have to shit really bad? And the system says, no, it's not that way. And Issei said, wait, what? Right when he's about to use the restroom, the entire toilet just blew up. And that's where I'm going to end. What if Issei was betrayed and gained the betrayal system? Sorry if this was way too short, but honestly, I'm like way too tired today. I might actually do a redo on this if you guys don't like it. But, alright. I hope you all like it though. And hope you all smash that like button. Hope you all destroy that subscribe button. And goodbye, everyone.